Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. Like what angry people say on the internet actually matters. Come on now. Oh, and in case you didn't know, spoilers ahead for Enies Lobby, just saying. I am a huge One Piece fan. It started out when I was a kid and continued long into adulthood. It's one of the best long-running stories that I have ever experienced. And there isn't a part of the series that I like more than Enies Lobby. Granted, Wano and Marineford might be better overall arcs, but Enies Lobby is still my personal favorite. I will admit, however, that there are flaws. This is one of 3 arcs with the exact same premise, where Luffy has to chase after a crew member who has left the group and seemingly betrayed them. Not going to lie, that's one of Oda's greatest weaknesses. I can forgive 2 times, but I literally laughed when it happened to Sanji as well. Granted, it was a good arc overall, but that's not the point. Enies Lobby is the best in my mind because it did an excellent job making every single character important in different ways throughout the arc. They got to showcase their abilities and growth in perhaps the biggest bump in the series other than the time skip. It also felt like when Oda truly understood everyone's characteristics and dynamics. Not only did their skills shine, but their personalities did as well, especially the main focus of the entire arc. My personal favorite character in the whole series, Nico Robin, who had my absolute favorite scene and line in the whole series.
I've only had Arlo for a day and a half, but if anything happened to him, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself.
By this point, Nico Robin had been a part of the crew for about an arc and a half. She fits in well with the group, but always felt distant. As time went on, she did seem to grow more fond of everyone else, but you could tell that her guard was still up. The Enies Lobby's arc starts with the crew arriving at Water 7 to repair their ship, the Going Merry. As soon as she lands, Robin is approached by a person in a mask. CP9. From there, she's pulled into a conspiracy where she has to obey the world government in exchange for the lives of the Straw Hats. And obviously, her friends don't take the idea of her sacrificing herself for them all that well. The crew fight their way through a danger storm and make their way to a marine-held island. Having defeated hundreds of soldiers and a member of CP9, they stand on a roof across a gorge from Nico Robin. She screams that she doesn't want them to save her. She tells them that she wants to die, and she remembers what happened to her homeland of Ohara. Everyone was slaughtered because the archaeologists were researching the Void Century. Men, women, children, all of them perished before the Marines, but Robin lived thanks to her friendship with a giant and the mercy of a vice admiral.
Hey, who left this bowl of onions here?
Robin was pursued her entire life for being able to read a dead language and for the ability to learn the truth of the Void Century. She was constantly betrayed, used, and abused. She could never trust a single soul. Her sole focus was on learning the truth of the world, something her mother and teachers gave their lives to understand. That obsession made her ally herself with the corrupt crocodile and assist in taking over an entire country. But all of her plans shattered when Luffy's group defeated Crocodile and forced her to live when she had no other reason to go on. For the first time since Ohara, Robin found people that she loved, people she could trust, people who would never use or betray her. They cared about her for her, and that love meant that she would do anything to protect them, including sacrificing herself so that the full force of CP9 and the world government wouldn't slaughter the entire crew. Her life meant nothing to her in the face of people who finally treated her like a person to be valued. So she tells them to run and never look back, to abandon and betray her, because this is the one time that she actually wants people to abandon her and to live free without her.
First, let's get one thing straight. I'm not crying. I'm just sweating through my eyes.
This is one of the few times that Luffy pays attention to someone's past, where he's serious, focused, and up to speed with everyone else in the crew. Despite what everyone might think, he actually does understand the weight of Robin's enemy, but that doesn't matter to him. The world was always going to be his enemy anyway when he became the Pirate King. He orders Soja King, Usopp in disguise, it's a long story, to set the world government flag on fire, declaring war on the whole planet. Even the stoic members of CP9 are slightly surprised by their actions, but the Straw Hats remain strong. Their most cowardly members don't even think twice about their decision. All of them are determined to fight for their friend and are willing to be a villain, the enemy of the whole world, for it. As usual, the newcomer Frankie is moved to tears by their devotion, but no one is more stunned than Nico Robin herself. Her usual calm demeanor shatters and she breaks down crying as Luffy screams at her that he wants to hear her say something important. He wants to hear that she wants to live. And this part of the story is so good that it literally took me multiple rereads and watches to realize that there is no possible way for people to hear each other from that great of a distance. But we all know that sound carries a little bit differently in the One Piece universe, so whatever.
Right.
Overwhelmed, Robin remembers her life of suffering and solitude. She remembers meeting and losing her mother all at once. She remembers seeing everyone she ever loved die. She remembers not trusting anyone throughout her life. But most of all, she remembers Jaguar D. Saul's last words to her. One day, she would find friends that would mean more to her than anything. People that would love her and treat her right. She would find a new family. And Saul was right. She did, in fact, find that. And Robin chose the group of 6 weirdos over the entire planet without regret. Their lives and her time with them were just too valuable. And they still are. For the first time since childhood, Robin shatters. Her calm facade is destroyed. Crying harder than she has in 20 years, she screams that she wants to live. She wants to go back to the sea with her friends. She wants to go on more adventures and be happy with her family. And that is all Luffy needs to hear. The Straw Hats are ready to charge forward, fighting one of the strongest assassin groups in the world, and save their friend. And to emphasize the point, Frankie puts his trust in the group. He sets fire to the blueprints of Pluton, the weapon the world government kidnapped him and Robin to get. Frankie believes in the Straw Hats and Nico Robin. He no longer believes that the blueprints are necessary in order to counteract Nico Robin, because the world government will never keep their claws in her.
What? Would you get out of here?
And that scene sets up my favorite arc in the whole series. What truly makes it so perfect is the setup and the characterization. The normally calm Robin is extremely emotional. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew are calm and collected. Usopp, Nami, and Chopper show no fear. Sanji isn't simping out for her. Zoro shows that he actually does care for Robin after distrusting her at first. And Luffy has given up all of his normal goofiness, showing a rare respect to someone's backstory and suffering that he hardly ever demonstrates before this, even with Nami. The history, build, and chaos leading up to this scene makes it even better, with the going merry beyond repair and Usopp technically out of the crew. This arc felt more chaotic and dismal than any other part of the story. During a first reading or viewing, you might realize that there is a chance that things won't work out perfectly, but everyone stands firm in their resolve about doing what needs to be done. It's truly a perfect scene, one that cemented Robin as my favorite character in the whole series, and the arc as a whole as my favorite as well. You're welcome to disagree with all this, that's fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.